Hey hippies, welcome back. It's Courtney Shavante and I'm back with another banging ashtray tutorial. Super excited for this one because it's a Chanel inspired one and baby is over here blinging in all its opulence. I can't wait to show you guys how to get started and just how to create this look. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button for me. Also hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss anything that I do put out for you guys moving forward. And let's get it started. Alright hippies, so first things first, you want to go ahead and start with a nice clean mold. Make sure that you use any tape if necessary to pull any excess pieces that might be in there left over if you're using a used mold. Now to start off, I'm going to be brushing some mica powder directly onto my molds. That's what's going to give me that little gold effect and everything that we're going for. So you just want to get a regular paintbrush, make sure it's nice and soft, and just dip it into this gold color mica powder. Feel free to use any color that you do choose. I'm just using gold so that way I can get the overall look that I am going for. So yeah, you see me just kind of brushing this on, making sure that I'm not missing any spaces or anything like that. If it does start to, kind of transfer into other areas that you're not necessarily aiming for, completely fine. Do try to make sure you don't get it where you don't need it. However, if you do, I have a way to show you how to clean that up right quick. And we're going to do that in the very next step after you see me kind of do these smaller areas with this smaller brush. Alright, so after we finish with that and everything, you're just going to go ahead and close up that mica powder. Take some Q-tips, take some tissue, and take some alcohol, and you're just going to get to work kind of cleaning up any of the little excess powder that has kind of flown and kind of got dusted in the area that you don't want it in. First, I like to start off with the piece of tissue to get the big larger areas and everything, and then I like to get in there with that Q-tip and making sure I get in there. I also spray it every so often to make sure it stays moist. I'll wipe it onto the tissue, but I just use that Q-tip to kind of go along the edge to make a nice clean sharp edge right along where the dips in this ashtray are, and along the center as well, because on this particular mold it has like kind of like this little rim thing that's that I painted gold and everything. So yeah, you kind of saw that in the intro and whatnot. But yeah, you're just going to continue on doing this until you're ready for our next step. Alright, so what you're going to do next is go ahead and prep 20 milliliters of your resin. You're going to pour about half of it into the tray and everything. I'm aiming specifically for these little corners and everything because that's where I'm going to be placing my bling charms. Now by bling charms, you see me kind of twisting them around in the resin. This helps make sure that the bubbles don't accumulate onto the rhinestones and everything, because they do tend to hold some air bubbles from time to time. So I just wanted y'all to kind of be aware of that and know what was up and why I was doing all the twisting around with the charms. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of place each charm in the corner. I'm going to make sure they're lined up how I want them as well, and just kind of placing them carefully. Once I have them like exactly how I want them, I'm just going to come through with my remaining resin and make sure everything's covered and create a nice even like layer with this and everything. Spray some alcohol to pop any bubbles if necessary, and don't be afraid to get in there with your heat gun. You shouldn't need to because you don't want to blow the mica powder around, but if you have bubbles you do want to get in there with the heat gun. And then we're just going to allow this some time to cure. Alright, so once everything is done, you want to go ahead and prep about 70 milliliters of a resin. I'm going to be coloring this resin black, and I will be using mica powder that I'm going to brush in, and I'm going to stir in and mix in first. I'm going to whip it up really good just to make sure that I get all the chunks out and everything the best I can. Scrape at those sides to make sure it's evenly dispersed. Then I'm going to come in with that alcohol ink, this black opaque alcohol ink, and this is going to make sure that it is not see-through at all. I'm just going to mix that in really well, and it's also going to have to help with any bubbles that may be within the resin that got trapped with that mica powder, just because it does have alcohol in it. So what you're going to do once you get that black mixed up, you're going to pour it into the rim, but you're going to pour it so that way it does not come over the middle base of the circle where that ashtray is. So you're going to be very careful and pour carefully. Once you have it filled to the level that you desire and that we're going for, you're going to allow some time for this to cure. Once that layer is cured, I want you to go ahead and prep another 50 milliliters of resin for me. What you're going to do is go ahead and toss in some glitter. I am using quite a bit of glitter, so this is probably equating to maybe about, I'd say, an entire thing of like one of my 5 milliliter jars and everything. So I just like mix that into my resin, and then you're going to see me pour that in. Now I had 60 milliliters in the cup, but I'm only pouring 50 into the actual mold, so that's why you still see it left over in the cup. But no worries, just spray that, and you're going to allow that to cure as well. Once it's done curing, we're going to go ahead and prep another 20 milliliters of resin. You're going to color this black the same way we did in that step in a few steps ago and everything. Yeah, just go ahead and do the same exact thing. Mix that on up, get it mixed up really good. You want to make sure it's nice and opaque because you don't want the glitter layer to be clearly visible when the tray is upside down. At least I don't. If you do, then you can, really just go ahead and put another layer of clear on here, and then that'll get everything sealed in nicely, and you'll be fine and good to go from there. But baby, we're going for black to go ahead and black this out and complete our look. So I'm going to go ahead and pour half, and I'm going to aim towards the sides with my popsicle stir stick, just to make sure this helps prevent any bubbles in those areas and things like that. And it's just going to help make sure that it's a nice even layer, especially since this isn't a very thick layer of resin that we are going to be pouring. This 20 milliliters isn't going to be super thick, but it's going to be nice and opaque enough to hide that glitter. Get in there with your heat gun if necessary. Just blow that around, thin it out, just make sure everything is good to go, that you don't have any bubbles, and that it's nice and level, so that way it's perfect. Spray your alcohol and let that cure. Alright, once everything is nice and cured, you're going to go ahead and wiggle this right from your mold. Everything should be nice and hard and ready to go, and this is what we got to start out with. But of course, we are not going to leave it there because, bougie hippie tutorials, it's not quite bougie enough yet. So we're going to go ahead and prep another 20 milliliters of this resin, and we're going to pour, well, actually I probably use closer to 15 if I'm being honest, but 15 to 20, pour half into the tray. Go ahead and, spread it out and everything. Make sure it's a nice even layer. Grab your foil. This one I am using like a little Chanel logo that I printed off myself. Sorry guys, I can't sell these because, legality issues, but I do have tutorials on how to make foil, so feel free to check that out. I'm using the remaining resin to go ahead and cover that foil, and I'm using my stir stick to kind of push that down, making sure there aren't any bubbles underneath and that this isn't going to be lifting or anything. I want it pretty close to that other layer of resin, and then making sure that I have a nice even coat on top to seal that in, and then we're going to allow that to cure. Ta-da! And this right here, hippies, is our finished piece, and she is absolutely stunning. I am so in love. So let's go ahead and check her out right quick. Okay. All right, so this is the side view. Like, yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Like, I love that little layered look. You know, your girl's the queen of layers over here. Let's go ahead and pull this in for a close-up. Yes. Like, I'm just like really loving how this is looking and everything. I love how this black is just so reflective as well. It's low-key like a little mirror. This is what our front looks like. I love how like everything, all these colors just blend together. It's absolutely stunning. These charms are just bling blinging over here, really catching attention. Some subtle like luxury and everything. I really love how this gold looks as well. Like, it really reflects the glitter and it makes it look like it's shining like even more than it already is. I love how our little holographic Chanel logo looks here. She's so pretty. Guys, this is literally like one of my favorite ashtrays that I've ever done, and it was so simple, it was so quick. So I really hope that you guys like really love this video as much as I did. I hope it really inspired you. Make sure you continue leaving me your likes and comments and everything. I appreciate y'all support so much. Make sure you get me to the 1 million followers that she was talking about, Miss Juanita. I'm asking the same thing you are. But until next time, hippies, thank you so much for the support that you are giving me. And until next time, XO. Mwah. Bye now.